Welcome everybody to the Onward VR Master League. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. I am joined by my co-caster Theta. How are you today, Theta?
I'm doing excellent, thank you very much.
We got ourselves a interesting time to be in Onward and an interesting matchup here, a top-tier matchup nonetheless. Aimless Gaming versus Animal House, two teams looking to be competing for a top 10 spot at the very least in the regular season. I mean, what are you expecting out of these squads today? Fast pace, slow pace? What are you anticipating?
Well, it's a really interesting match because Animal House is sort of a legacy team. They're well known around the league, very good team.
Yep.
And their brand, so to speak, is just aggression. When you play against Animal House, you know they're going to push you hard. And Aimless, I think, is a little more they're a little harder to pin down. You know, they can kind of do both. And they're ascending very quickly. They did very well in the hiatus tournament, came in second, only losing to beginners at the very end. So this is going to be an excellent matchup, I think.
Yeah. I don't know what to really expect out of Aimless Gaming. You know, this team relatively... I'm trying to remember. Have they gone through a rebrand, or is this the squad that is new to this season? I think they are a new squad to season 10, aren't they? No, since season 9.
Yeah, they used to be known as the Peacekeepers, and then they were Witch Doctor, and now they're Aimless Gaming.
Thank you. I knew they had gone through some some rebranding names over the course of time. Either way, they are ALG now, and I mean, we're getting ready, to get in the lobby. They've given us their pick bans and whatnot, but let's dive into it. What do we have coming in from bans for today's matchup, Theta?
Okay, so first of all, for the home team, we've got Bazaar. And for the visiting team, which is Animal House, we've got Subway as the ban.
And I mean, 2 close quarters maps off the table. It leaves the range open to play. It leaves things like Quarantine, Downfall, Bazaar, with some longer range angles on that map as well, is sort of available. And I mean, for map 1, we're headed to Quarantine, so we're gonna get a taste of something fresh here. And I mean, we got a lot to talk about, right? Because there's some changes since we've taken this break. There's no smokes in play currently in the regular season.
Yeah, so I think this overall situation is fascinating because, first of all, like you mentioned, the map is completely different now, and Quarantine has become sort of this equalizer between less experienced teams and more experienced teams. So I can understand why Aimless would want to pick that. And on the other side of it, for their bans, I think they were both banning for strength there, in the sense that they wanted to deny the other team a map where they think they're really good, rather than trying to ban a map that they feel like they're not going to perform well on. Because as I mentioned before, Animal House, very strong, aggressive team in close quarters. Bazaar fits that category well. And Aimless, I mean, they've done well on Subway as well in previous matches, so I think Animal House was doing their homework on that one.
Well, we are just moments away, a few minutes most likely, from hopping in to our first match, at least my first match of the regular season. Feels good to be back to it, and I am very much looking forward to this one. We're going to cut to a brief intermission, and we'll be right back to it with map number 1, round 1, Aimless Gaming versus Animal House. Don't go anywhere. We are just moments away from the first round beginning. I did want to take a quick dive into the active rosters for today. Coming in from ALG, we have Nardu, Virus, Evil Cartman, Fume, Gallic Susan, and over on Animal House we have F. Lipinski, Wicked Hex, Nolamite, Willow the Wisp, and Green Theft Auto. And I mean, we didn't get to talk a lot about quarantine, Theta, before we cut to intermission, but I'm curious, with the new sort of lighting, what are your thoughts?
Well, it changes a lot because, first of all, they changed the lighting on the overall map, but there was also some key places that they changed the lighting and made it brighter. So, for example, in the gas station, that for this first version of the 1.8 quarantine, it was almost unassailable from the outside. It was very hard to see anybody inside of it. So that's a major change.
Yeah, they have actually lights inside now.
Yep. And fun fact, James Boak, co-captain of Mayhem, was pointing out that the shadows are not accurate for a city at the latitude that it's supposed to be in Utah. He said it's more likely to be in a place like Norway, which I thought was pretty funny.
A deep cut there coming in from James. Some cheering coming in from the Animal House team as we hop into round number 1 of map 1. Aimless Gaming versus Animal House, and ALG getting this north spawn. Pretty quick one. They can wrap west right away and be right up in the face of this defense.
Yeah, and controlling this crash building area is so important. Whoever gets that tends to get the objective here. Or I should say tends to get the round, in my experience.
They are playing it quick. ALG not wasting any time, but they're taking the right angles. I think if you take that far outside, that new entryway on the far west there, it seems to just be covered more often. You see Willow there has an angle down towards that lane, but where they're taking it, the inner route is definitely also has its risks. You can certainly be sniped from a couple of different angles from that middle house, but no one taking that up from Animal House, and I don't think anyone's identified Aimless Gaming yet in terms of where they've spawned from, unless they're hearing Virus.
Yeah, I'm really curious here. So Evil Cartman looking down this hallway in the west, this is, in my experience, a really nasty place to get caught in.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wow.
One dead burning.
Wow, Virus now has command here. He's managed to get the one in burning, so it opens up his entry here. Nardu in quick succession behind him. They've taken control of objective building. Virus, oh no, team killing Nardu as he comes up. Maybe a bit spooked because Willow is just around the corner. Willow swings, finds one. Virus with a quick refrag. Not going to be a res available, a 1-for-1 trade up top, but it is now a 4v3 Animal House.
Oh, never mind.
Have to shift around and get back on
Hey,
objective.
there's one more deep west.
Yeah, Nolamite now is more or less surrounded by Aimless Gaming. And he goes down there right next to the airplane tail. And it's now up to Green Theft Auto and Lipinski.
They're on objectives, so, at least they're preventing any sort of immediate cap, but ALG are playing it a bit safer. They've managed to really take full control of the new 4-story, or 5-story? I don't know what you'd call it, but they've taken control of that building, and that's just, it's tough for Animal House now. In the 2v4, you lose a lot of control of the map. They have so many new angles they can take. Green Theft may be able to find Fume on the hill here. Doesn't quite spot Fume's head. Flashbang coming out and over. I don't think that catches anyone.
Oh, so Fume, he can shoot through that red ramp and kill Green Theft Auto. Those are penetrable. Curious to see if he takes that shot. Oh.
Oh my, wow. Fume was crouched there in a bit of an awkward position, and he must have thought that he got the kill. Virus is here on the corner looking for the cap. Lipinski quickly swings, gets the kill, gets 2. Wow, a double from Lipinski. Flashbang's here. He's completely blind. Cartman's not putting the pressure on, though.
Yeah, you really could have had that, but decided to play it a little more conservatively there.
I think Lipinski dodged that flash as well. Oh, and this might be the play. If he covers this angle, he can watch Gale Susan. I think Cartman might be swinging for the res.
Yeah, I mean, Lipinski looks like he has an angle on that if he decides to go for it. Maybe if he stays prone, he can do it without Lipinski noticing, but we'll see. It also depends on Lipinski looking over there. He's got to keep his head on a swivel right now.
No smokes available here either. So if he's going to do this, he's going to have to cover his angles very diligently. And Cartman's used all his flashes, so he has no utility to blind Lipinski and get up there with a quick res. So yeah, it is certainly a... it's a risky move to go for, especially when you have other advantages, right? Especially when you can get up there on that two-story on top of the down plane and have a real nice angle into the courtyard.
Yeah, and he's only got 30 seconds, so he needs to make a move one way
right.
or another. Oh, he did it right as Lipinski wasn't looking. Wow, what timing there.
Nice. And then he finds the frag. Nicely done. A very well-timed play. And that's Onward in a nutshell right there, right? The one time you look away from the angle, it bites you in the butt.
Yeah, no kidding. I know we have all experienced that more times than we can count. And, I mean, to his credit, Lipinski held that down really well. The odds and timing were just not in his favor there.
Wow. That was quite the round, though. I mean, geez, the double from Lipinski. That is a crazy double to find that long-range angle like that, mid-range angle, right off of that first kill. Very good reactions from him. And almost, you know, so close to getting that final kill, but the res and ultimately the win from ALG. And now Animal House have to go on and get a Marsoc win to tie this up. So definitely the start that ALG is looking for.
Indeed. And it was really interesting to watch ALG's push there because they put 5 in the West.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't see that very often at this level. But, I mean, doing unexpected moves like that, it makes a big difference. I don't think you could see Animal House's defense was spread, which is what most defenses would do in this situation. No. And when they storm that crash building, it's just so hard to react to that when everyone's spread out and has to rotate because you have just such fantastic angles all over the map from there.
I think this is something that ALG does. If I'm trying to think back to our the bit of a discussion we had when they were playing in the Division 1 finals for the hiatus tournament. I think this is sort of their MO. They are very good at stacking the sides. They're very good at working together as a squad. It has its downsides. If the team can react accordingly, if the team knows that this is how ALG plays, they can defend accordingly. So it's going to come down to if Animal House can adapt to how this ALG team plays. And I'm curious to see how ALG defends as we hop into round number 2.
No doubt. Yeah, it looks like we get an East spawn.
Well, spawn. Already had 2 crosses. Yeah. Why do we blow the spawn?
Hear the call-outs there, and if you're not familiar with the intricacies of Onward, the game, there are 2 random spawns per randomly spawned objective. And so, via, you know, deductive reasoning, you can kind of figure out where a team is spawned. Is it 2? It might be more now. I'm actually not sure on that if it's only 2.
I'm not sure either. Yeah, I'd have to check that.
Either way, there's a variable amount of spawns, and you know these teams know. Okay, on this objective, there are these potential spawns that the enemy can have, and so oftentimes the defense immediately goes out, covers an angle, and looks to see if a team is moving out from a certain spawn point. And so right there, you could hear Animal House kind of calling out, "We've blown our spawn," and it's an important part of the early game. If you can figure out where the enemy is coming from, you can really shift and adjust your defense accordingly.
Yeah, it's a real shift in information asymmetry, which I think is a major theme in Onward, is you don't want the other side to have information about you, and you want to gather information about them as much as possible. So it's a constant give and take between both of the teams. And if you give away your spawn early, you just handed a massive information advantage. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to lose, but it will make your life harder.
And I mean, we got to continuously remind the audience and ourselves too, Theta, this is not, you know, the Onward that we were just watching in the hiatus tournament, because there are no smokes in play here. You're not going to see any smokes come out. They have been banned for the time being in regular league play. And the only option these players have is to hold their angles, find these flashes, and it really is a different kind of the pace and everything. It just changes so much because of how you have to play the game now. And so it's really interesting to watch how these teams are maneuvering and trying to work their way up through the rubble. The defense, not quite as aggressive as maybe you would normally see it, and it's just a bit of a slower pace here from Animal House as they get themselves into position.
Yeah, I'll personally be very curious to see if we go to cargo.
Yeah.
And how Animal House in particular reacts to that, because they are famous for their ability to dump smokes on objective and cap quickly. And it looks like Willow and Fume are getting awfully close to each other over here in the west. I don't know if they've heard each other. I'm not hearing any call-outs so far, but they are right around the corner from each other.
We're seeing defensive flashes come out. You saw one come in there from Nardu up and over the plane wing. That was intended to see if Willow was pushing down this red lane, he would have been completely flashed there. And I think Nardu was maybe looking for an angle. I don't think he has one there, but either way, that's that flash. That's what it was looking for. It doesn't find anybody as Willow was playing it a bit slower than that, but the timing there, you know, almost lines up. Wicked Hex almost finds Fume on the cross bottom floor.
Bottom floor. Right outside objective room, big building.
Yeah, that was real close, but now Fume is getting surrounded here. Willow up on his level now. Wicked Hex moving in on the bottom floor.
He's being reinforced. Nardu is here, potentially able to swing in from the bottom floor. Oh, I don't think Fume knows Willow's up here. Now he does. Willow's put some rounds downrange. Fume's going to swing back downstairs. Shots down onto Wicked Hex. He sees him now on his bottom side, and he is definitely pinched. Willow's applying the pressure, gets the kill. A good bit of aggression from Willow to get up in the face of Fume. Now Nardu aware of Willow's position. Is he aware of Wicked on the far west?
Oh, so we have on the other side of the map here, Nolamite and Lipinski are surrounding the objective here with Green Theft. Grenade goes out onto the objective. And Virus just tossed out a Molotov to stop the advance there from center burning. Cartman gets Nolamite.
Willow, nice angle here up top. He knows Nardu's here as well, and a quick double from Willow. The drop shot finds him too. Nicely done for that, and this is the four-man press from Animal House. The 4v2. ALG Virus tucked in on the corner. Willow's pad out. Virus finds that easy kill. One goes down in the flames. Lipinski getting scooped up by Cartman, and just like that, a 1v2. Wicked Hex all on his own. He's got pad on corner, though. Does Virus know it's possible? Yes, he does. He swings, defends, and a good hold. A huge hold from ALG.
Wow. A lot happened there really fast.
It hit me. I mean, yeah, a lot happened there. The double coming in right away on the west side opens up the push from Animal House. That's the spark plug for them to go. They've found their entry points. They get right up into that courtyard, and there's Virus waiting for them. He finds one with the pad out. That's an easy kill. And in the meanwhile, a Molotov comes off on the corner that somehow catches one on a swing. Cartman picks up another, and so just crazy plays from Cartman there to get his double and ultimately defend what was a 3-man, 4-man push into objective.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of greed there for the Cap.
Sure.
You know, running Cap with the tablet out kind of through the open. If he checks that corner, he very potentially had that Cap. You know, to be fair, I mean, they're the ones in the game. It can get exciting. Things are moving fast. I get that. But yeah, that was a spicy round, no doubt.
I mean, we're off to the races, aren't we? What a series so far. ALG taking it 2-0. This is their map pick, but either way, it's exactly how you want to start things off, right? On your map pick, to come out the gate, get it 2-0, you really want to lock this one down so you can ride momentum into map 2, because that's going to be when Animal House can get their rebuttal. They can pick something they're comfortable on, which may be a cargo, maybe a close quarters map. Maybe something along the lines of Bazaar. Other things have been banned. You know, Subway's off the table. Oh, Bazaar off the table there as well. I forgot that was ALG's ban. So yeah, the pool. Tanker maybe? I don't know. You know, no, Tanker's banned.
Yep.
So yeah, the map pool very limited here in terms of what's going to come next. But we're into round 3.
I would not be surprised if we went to Cargo next, particularly if Animal House does not take this map.
And just because that's a preference for Animal House, something that we know that they can perform on.
Yeah, I mean, it just suits their style a lot better, I think. Even without smokes, they're just the kind of people that are going to run and get in your face really fast. So I think that would be where they want to go. Whereas Quarantine right now, we've been playing this new version for a couple of months, but compared to the experience that's been accumulated over years with the other maps, you know, this is still kind of a feeling out period for a lot of teams, and they're going to want to go where they're comfortable for the next one, I would guess.
They're playing this quick. Fume and Nardu charging in. Lipinski's got control of basement. He finds one right away. Fume looking for the refrag, scoops that up, but not before the confirm comes in. So the 4v4. In the meantime, look at the south. Nolamite getting right up into the business of ALG. Susan and Virus here, they are going to be ones to be I mean, they got to be ready for a fight. They are. Susan's throwing out some flashes. He heard Nolamite on the corner.
You fucking muppet.
Susan swinging. I don't think he knows about green theft, though. He's definitely aware of Nolamite's position. Nolamite's taking this opportunity in the shift to move up. Does Virus know the Nolamite's right here? Yes, he did. He pointed inside. Virus swings, finds the kill, and Nolamite delayed on the reaction. They aren't going to be ready for green theft, though. Green still has an opportunity to get this double refrag. He just has to play it calm and collected. If he plays it too calm, he could miss the rotation, though.
Ooh, and Wicked Hex just took out Fume as he was coming out of the mall on the objective side there. Cartman is about to be there as well.
Flash coming out. Hex here ready to defend in case Cartman does come in from the center.
Oh, this is really interesting. So, I mean, Green Theft Auto is still all the way back in the hospital, and he has been surpassed by all the Marsoc players so far. So it just leaves 2 left on the objective.
It really is a 3v2 right now, and he has to rotate. It could be a huge moment, you know, if he rotates at the right time. If he starts to swing back on defense at the right moment, but it could also be he's so far away from OBJ. If he's the last one alive, it's map for ALG.
Yep. We'll just see how this plays out. Like you said, he could flank here, and it could be devastating because they think that area is clear now because they've gone through it.
There's the rotation. Green Theft picking up Cartman on the backside. A huge pickup, and now what does ALG think? We just lost one behind us. They're saying, well, whatever. We're here on objective. We're going to push it. Virus and Susan crossing out.
Oh, tablet out. Oh,
Finds
boy.
One. Susan's here. Hex not rotating, and Susan could punch in the code. Decides not to. What happened to Susan?
Oh.
No.
Did he freeze?
Yes, he did. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, that is so brutal. Man. That was a cap. That was definitely a cap. Oh. Yeah, don't know what to say about that one.
Yeah.
I've never personally seen that happen, so that's a first.
Yeah, I got no words for you on that one. That's just the worst case scenario to be having your game crash. You couldn't ask for literally a more inopportune time or opportune time if you're Animal House. I mean, talk about of all times to have someone crash. It be the guy that is capping. Wow. I mean, what a crazy play from ALG, too, the way they pushed that out, right? I mean, they just completely ran past Wicked Hex on the backside, and they heard the shots from the back, and they, you know, oftentimes team go, well, shit, we just lost one back there. What's that mean? There's a guy over there. What do we do? They were confident in what they were doing. They probably had a good kill count. They knew there was 3 alive. So that is 1. So you know you're into a 2v2 as you push in. And, yeah. Yeah, tough pill to swallow for sure.
Yeah, it was just I don't want to say absurd, but just kind of an odd round because of that. Like, there was just a lot going on. They ran past, and Wicked Hex was throwing utility onto Tank Courtyard while everybody was storming onto Objective. It's just like a lot of funky stuff happened, and then it ended like that. Yeah, just a unique round. Let's just put it that way.
Well, we've certainly created some popcorn with that one, to say the least. But
yeah,
I don't think we can say much more on it here for the cast. You know, we can only go forward with things, and as far as rules go, we just have to wait for ALG's 5th to reconnect, and we soldier on. ALG go on the defense. Animal House essentially get a gift given to them by the Downpour gods.
Just a little sprinkling. And yeah, I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. When you're playing any game, I mean, games are not perfect. They're built by people, and sometimes that happens, and you just kind of have to roll with it.
Yep. Yeah, tough stuff. But, I mean, geez, Aimless Gaming are playing it good today, huh? They are coming out the gate here coordinated. They are on point. They are aggressive. And Animal House still has yet to adjust to it, really. They have not been ready for this Aimless Gaming just constant press. It seems to be catching them off guard, at least on Quarantine.
Agreed. Yeah, and I have to say, you highlighted this already, but just want to revisit it for a moment. That move where they realized that there was somebody behind them, they just made a pro-level decision there and said, we're close to objective, we're just going to press.
Yeah. Because
a lot of teams would hear that PKM going off in the background and instinctively rotate back and try to clear them out instead of pushing forward because they don't want to get flanked. But those guys realized, look, he's behind us, that's dangerous, but we're so close, we're just going to do this. And yeah, I mean, that was a very high-level decision to make, in my opinion. So props to them for that.
We are still waiting for the 5th. And I think we may cut to a brief intermission. I hate to do it because the action has been good, but we have no game to hop into. I'm not... I mean, what else you got to talk about? The lighting on this map is certainly interesting now. You know, the 185 change. That's something I guess we also have to talk about, right? Is your ability to adapt to change, and especially in the day and age and how much Onward is changing patch to patch. You have to be able to adapt to a different lighting from one patch to the next. You know, and I think that this lighting change, like we've said, opens up a lot of different spots, closes old spots, and the way that defense played it was really interesting if you think about it. Animal House getting very aggressive on that south side. You know, I mean, they were way far away from objective. Like I said, if who was it that was out there? If Wicked, if they lose those two on objective, and they did, you know, they almost did at least. Wicked was so far away that he wouldn't have been able to contest a potential cap, and it was a very risky push. So I think we're seeing sort of these teams try and play into this ability that, look, we know nobody can use smokes. So we know a team's not going to smoke a street and cross it. And so how that team is going to approach that is going to be different now. And so it's just, Quarantine is a different animal altogether with just flashbangs in your utility belt.
Yeah, something I've talked to Defilade, who is Mayhem Sniper, a bit, is, you know, this isn't really as much of a long-range map as it used to be, just because of the way it's set up. You know, there's less open space, especially with this gigantic airplane body in the middle, and it's much harder to do long-range plays. It's sort of like I wouldn't say it's short range, but it's sort of medium-ish range instead. And so that changes the dynamic a lot because a lot of teams have built their strategies around Quarantine as a long-range map. So that's the one adaptation I think that we're still seeing in progress. And I was trying to mention this and then we kind of got into the action, but you know, with these older maps, it's got years of experience in metagaming and strategizing around them. They're fairly well understood at this point. Every team kind of has their strategy around it. This version of Quarantine, which is more or less a new map, it's only been around for a couple of months. So that might feel like a lot to the people who are playing it every day, but everybody is still trying to figure it out. There's a lot to understand about this map that's been changed, and especially like you said with this new update, I mean, these maps are changing constantly now. So not only is the structure of the map different, now the lighting of the map is different. You've got to account for that as well. So it is really a race to see who adapts faster.
Hopefully this isn't a critical error for ALG, but we will cut to a brief intermission as we still wait for the 5th to rejoin. Do appreciate you all tuning in, and as a reminder, we have a lot of game going on right now. I think all 3 channels live, if I'm not mistaken. So get your multi-streams out there. If you have the link, I'm sure one of us will paste it in chat, but get that multi-stream up and be watching everything. There's a match coming to its conclusion on OML 3 with Control Flirt Delete casting that. We have Noman on Master League 2, and obviously we're here on 1. So while we're in this intermission, go check out what's going on and then come right back. It's going to be quick. We'll hop into the very intense ALG versus Animal House action in a few more minutes. back. ALG has subbed in Sequix. And we'll have to do some research, but I don't know if he is... Let me pull it up. Dang it, I had it up. There it is. Yes, he is on their roster, so an active sub. Not pulling it from the league subs pool.
Let's wrap this up.
And, I mean, yeah, they got to bounce back, you know? Just a tough draw for them. They have to come in here with their good lead, the good rounds they put out, and just keep that momentum going. Sequick, ooh, getting dangerous here on the corner. You do have a long-range angle from Lipinski being held, and he just nearly gets tagged up. Lipinski takes those shots but misses.
Yeah, they're just sitting around the center.
Yeah, you could hear Sequick rallying the team there and just saying, let's wrap this up. Don't think about what happened last time, which is excellent advice.
And a bit of a hush here. Animal House managing to narrowly avoid getting themselves into a nice 5v4 to kick things off, but we'll see what happens. No real early aggression on defense from ALG here, despite how forward they've been on offense. They seem to stay tucked in. You can see Fume waiting for entry to come in. This is team fire coming in. Willow. Yikes, Lipinski taking shots at the back of Willow there. And that was almost a team kill. But Willow is very forward. I mean, he's already inside this building. I wonder if Sequix hurt him.
Yeah, it looks like they were initially going for kind of a north wraparound there, but now they're just sending out, who is this, Wicked Hex, way to the east. He is all the way out in the dunes.
Wow. Man, but if he can get around here, he has a decent line of sight. He doesn't have a long-range scope, though, so he'd really have to eagle eye it here. Down into the behind there, and Fume does come up from the stairs, scoops up Willow, who's trying to creep and crawl his way, I mean, almost straight up to objective. He would have had to also pass through Sequick, but either way, a kill for ALG, and they continue to keep things in their favor, 5v4 now.
Yeah, sort of like you mentioned, I mean, in contrast to Animal House, ALG is staying real tight on objective right now. They've got somebody in Motel, but that's about as far away as they're getting. They do not want anyone near that objective.
Sequick actually calling out Fume's breath, but him calling it out has inadvertently called out Green Theft, because Green Theft is here. So a bit of a fortunate miss here coming in from Sequick to call this out, but Fume has come back up to this floor and is now waiting for Green Theft to push in. And I mean, that's something also, you know, we often don't highlight here at the desk is this is obviously all open comms, you know. There's a distance to how clearly you can hear someone, and when you get too far away from your team, you have to radio in. But I'm sure Sequick hears Green Theft, and yeah, Fume hears these callouts coming in from Green Theft. So now they really know he's here, and everyone's listening to everyone here as they try and position themselves for the setup. 1:45 on the clock.
Yeah, Nolamite just pushed onto the Motel, and Wicked Hex is now going prone on that north street. No one has even looked over there, as far as I can tell.
Cartman,
go ahead.
I don't know. Well, yeah, he could sneak in here. He could easily find the shots onto Nardu. That's going to be the first kill he's going to have to get. But yeah, I don't think anyone's going to look here. Why would you ever look over here on this side while you're defending from this objective? It's really a crazy rotation to come out here from Wicked.
Yeah, it's a wild spot. I don't think I've ever seen somebody play it like this.
Looks like Nolamite and Cartman are in a bit of a flashbang back and forth on corner. Cartman's called this out now, and he's up tossing another flash, actually a nade there, as Nolamite swings back around. And I wonder if this is going to draw eyes to Wicked. I don't think it will. Now those shots definitely will. Cartman with a very nice immediate pickup onto Hex. Down he goes. More shots coming in. Lipinski managing to pick up Virus as he tries to rotate, and he is the only one left alive. ALG has systematically picked off the rest of his squad as they've tried to push in. Green Theft goes down to Fume in the center there, and now with 30 seconds left, Lipinski has to do something.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to push for the res here.
Yeah, small time.
Oh, and he gets it. Wow, okay.
Fine, see quick. Dardu's still here. 15 seconds left. Down he goes. Lipinski's looking for the kill. Gets that. He could come up from ramp, but 10 seconds. I just don't think he has the time. Cartman really just has to tuck in. 3, 2, 1. Flashes coming out, and yes, the time ultimately getting them. Lipinski did down Nardu, so who knows what could have happened. But ALG held on to their defensive round and pushed it up 3-1.
Yeah, Lipinski flexing there at the end. I mean, he was really doing work in that mall area. I think the timing just wasn't in their favor there. Took a little too long to wrap around. But yeah, that I gotta say that prone angle that Wicked Hex was taking, that was really unique. I don't think I've ever seen somebody play it like that.
It's interesting how he managed to get all the way over there too, without being spotted by anyone. You know, Cartman. And that's something, I guess, that, again, quarantine has changed, even on, you know, positions that you aren't really terribly familiar with. The far north side, these new rocks are big additions. They cut off lines of sight and open up, you know, opportunities for players to cross. And I honestly think that without the smokes, it's making these stealth plays more of an option, because you can kind of swing around the edge. If no one's holding the angle, no one's going to look over there. If no smokes come out, they're not going to get any audio cues. And so I think Wicked just caught nobody holding the angle and ends up getting all the way over there without anybody spotting him until finally he shoots, and then Cartman gets the kill.
Yeah, he was in a tough spot there. I think that's what made it such a bit of a dicey position, because the moment he started taking shots onto the objective, I think it was Evil Cartman in the motel just looked and popped him out in the open. So you got to be really careful how you're choosing your shots in that spot for sure.
I do think we're also getting the host from Master League 2, so welcome everyone. Welcome Control Flirt Delete from your cast.
Now it's a party.
Yep.
Okay, so new objective, and it looks like, what is this?
Far north.
Far north, yes.
Oh.
This is one of my favorite objectives personally as a player, but
Even now?
Yeah, I still enjoy this one quite a bit, because it tends to invite more aggressive plays, especially when there's a closer spawn. I think it may not happen this time just because they got the far spawn, but yeah, I don't know. It's just a fun objective to play, I think.
We're diving into round number 5 of map 1 if you're just tuning in. It has been ALG playing strong so far on their map pick. Animal House getting a gifted W, if you will, and are now trying to bounce back. It's been tough, though. ALG not letting up, and I mean, ultimately it's really Animal House have to adjust to this style of offense that ALG have been throwing at them. This full court press of offense. Green Theft taking shots and missing, and now see how this rotation works out for him. An aggressive rotation, and honestly, it's pulling out utility from the likes of Nardu and Marsoc. 2 flashes coming in here. Fume gonna be having an angle onto Green Theft soon enough. Green Theft not ready for that rotation. Fume finds the kill. The flash certainly would have blinded him as well, opening up that opportunity. But finally, ALG managed to take that out. Their spawn definitely blown and lots of positions given away. So very good work on that cross, and opens up the opportunity for Willow to get aggressive on roof.
Yeah, I mean, this 5-person push, you can really see it being used effectively here, because they are just ganging up on every defender they come across, and there's not much you can do about it as a defender.
Down.
Willow with that aggressive angle, scoops up C-Quick, trying to rotate out of Old Burning in the center there. A very nice shot from him. Fume not going to test his luck on that angle, and is going to drop back to his team, who's decided they're going to try their hands at the far west rotation.
And Wicked Hex is laying in wait here in that western hallway. It looks like he and Virus are about to have a confrontation. Just holding that angle to make sure that whoever he sees is out in the open and can't get into cover.
Ooh.
One bottom floor of the parking garage.
So close.
Just missing those shots. They're down into the 4v3. Virus trying to even the odds with some shots out there into that little area. And I mean, that is a solid defensive spot because you're able to really cover this full lane effectively. And it's pretty dark in there. You know, in terms of lighting, we talked about how things have changed on some spots. It is still pretty dark in there. And so you can kind of blend in as a Vulcan hide almost in the back sides of that little building there.
Yeah, that hallway is a defender's dream for a lot of reasons. That's one of them for sure. But if you can get people kind of siloed in there, it's a real problem for them. And it also cuts off that far west approach if they know you're there. So like Cartman is now rotating through the middle of Crash Building. He's going to have to go more east and just forget about that west approach because he knows there's nothing he's going to be able to do about it.
Flashes coming out. Willow completely blind here. Virus trying to push. Does manage to get up there before Willow can see. Gets the kill. Wicked Hex didn't hold the angle on that corner there. I don't think he could have because of the dune. But they know that there's one up here now, and a lot of utility still being tossed out. I don't think they're going to have anything left for their objective push.
Wicked Hex out in the open with 3 lasers on him there. And now it's all up to Lipinski.
He managed to trade. No, they still have a Nolamite over there as well. He's tucked in under the ramp.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I did not see him there.
Yeah. Caution that scaffold again.
I doubt they're going to spot him, too. Shots coming in. Virus goes down. Lipinski able to get one. Are they going to be ready for the second, though? Is Lipinski going to be ready for Cartman, who's also there? Yes, he is, because he's definitely going to be hurt. Nolamite hearing this rotation. Swings out, and Cartman able to get the shots.
Wow.
A huge snap shot there from Cartman. Now it's a 1v1, 45 on the clock.
Yeah, what a corner push that was. That was fantastic. And now it's just up to Lipinski here on defense.
It's a huge rotation, a huge swing from Cartman. He's now in the complete open as he's taking those shots. He still holds the angle, though, and no utility left for either one. So Cartman just going to have to rely on gun skills. Lipinski going to have to rely on angle. Swings, and Cartman able to find the shots. Huge kills from him to get themselves the W.
What a round. Wow. What a map in general. That was exactly the kind of spice I know I wanted to see out of these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, this is certainly ALG coming out of this hiatus looking good. I mean, that is arguably, 5 rounds won in that series, but still to continue to apply that pressure even after that incredibly unfortunate disconnect. Very good on them to bounce back from that. And we said cargo might be something Animal House pick into because the close quarters tends to lend more into that into their favor on in that sense. But Suburbia also still on the playing field here, also incredibly close quarters, and Animal House have chosen that for map 2.
Yeah, I think this is, Cargo and Suburbia are always going to be their preferred choices just because of their play style. I think ALG showed that they were, at least on Quarantine, the better longer range team here, and so it makes sense to equalize it a bit with something that's going to play more into their strengths. And it looks like we're going to start with the garage objective this time.
Oh, also of note, Seaquick now back out as they have, I think Susan was the one that disconnected.
Yep, you're right.
Back in the roster. And was that a sub from Animal House, or was...
Yep, they just brought in Steven 12.
Yeah, both of these teams certainly wanting to put their best foot forward. And hey, Steven 12's got a lot of energy. He can really reignite a team that might be on the back foot here. And they certainly are. They're going into their map choice. You bring some energy back into the team. It's certainly a good in theory, way to sort of bounce yourself back and get yourself back into the match against ALG. ALG may not be ready for it. They could be feeling very confident right now going into this series. And if Animal House can adjust, like I said, if they can adjust to this 5-man press, it's going to be a little harder for ALG to do what they've been doing.
Yeah, you know, there's an old saying in martial arts that the most dangerous fight is the one you're supposed to win. And a lot of times when people have a dominant first map or, you know, whatever you want to call it, whatever game you're playing, they tend to get a little too relaxed, a little too confident, and they start to let it slip. So I'll be curious to see how ALG balances that. You know, these higher level teams tend to be really good at kind of clenching their teeth and not letting that get to them, but nobody is immune.
The roster swaps are in. Map 1 locked in for ALG. Map 2, who knows what we're going to get as we dive into Suburbia for round number 1.
Oh, jeez. Oh, Tracy.
Fucking lame.
And
You can pre-fire them. Don't forget.
Stuck.
Free fire coming in from Cartman on 2-story, trying to catch out anyone out of the spawn, but taking safe routes and putting some own pre-fire down range as Animal House take control of the west side of the map.
This is a really tight defense that ALG is running.
Yeah.
Grenade went off lane 4.
I mean, in the day of not having to worry about smokes, why not just really tuck into the objective? Because that's what these smokes really do. And this sort of defense, if you can smoke them out, you end up smoking out this whole team.
Yep.
But that's not an option now. The nades, on the other hand, are... Wow, what a toss from Steve.
I see the
Out back. Yeah.
And that's a big rotation that's going to cost them. They're going to have to come fully outside the front doors there to get to the back and get them. So unless they really risk it, which could cost them, this could be a huge swing here because Fume's going to have to come out from the front door. Steven has an angle.
Yeah, it sounds like Nardu is feeding information to Fume. He just called that Steven went upstairs. So it might just be using him for the intel as he goes for the res. He's going to prone his way back there. Wow.
Hex could have had an angle for a brief moment in time, but yeah, this might work. Still, it's pulling him off their angles, so...
Yeah, get that fucker. Yeah.
Trades across the board. The push is coming in from Animal House. They're applying the pressure onto OBJ. 2 coming in. Willow manages to get a double. Fume finally catches the refrag, and in a flash, we're into a 3v2. Green Theft still pushed up here, and a flash comes out and over. This is going to be a good one. Green Theft completely blind, tucks in, and temporarily putting a pause on the aggression from the Animal House team. Fume getting completely suppressed by the likes of Lipinski and Steven. And we'll see if Green Theft's going to peek up and over and find this kill. He definitely hears him. The flash comes out. No, that was a nade. Green Theft able to swing. Finds him. Nardu all on his own some in a 1v3. Has to hold on to the OBJ. And Green Theft could pad out and cap on the backside of this.
Let's go, boys. Good shit. That was almost a cap.
Well, they don't get the cap. But, I mean, either way, you can't ask for a better start if you're Animal House to a very rough Map 1. They then come in here and have 4 left alive on Marsoc and get themselves a round 1 start.
Yeah, I have to say it's probably even more psychologically impairing for ALG because they were so tight on that objective. I mean, they had a solid defense set up there, and Animal House just kind of cut through them. So we'll see how that impacts their psychology moving forward, but that was quite a statement for Animal House to make in this first round.
Very powerful indeed, and that's like, hey, we are not giving up. You know, that is definitely Animal House going, look, we are not going to back down here. Steven didn't find any kills there, but didn't go down, and maybe, I don't know, his energy is what they needed, but it was in a flash, too. Like, suddenly they were in the front yard of the objective, you know? Yeah,
and I think actually if I remember correctly, Galaxian or Susan or whatever his name is. Apologies, I can't pronounce it.
Oh,
but
I've been going with Gail Susan, so I've been probably butchering it more than you just did. Who knows, you know?
I think he might have shot himself because it said, or maybe blew himself up because it said that he downed himself. And I think it was Wicked Hex, either Wicked Hex or Green Theft that confirmed him in the house. So that probably did not help the situation much, especially from a psychological perspective if things happen like that.
And again, that nade was big. It opened up gaps. You know, it allowed for those players to get up to where they got because he had to rotate he had to do that huge prone rotation. It cost him so much time to get over and get that res, and you know, ultimately you're then stuck with 2 back there. You know, that person then can't come back, especially when the push is there. And so just a big nade, and ultimately Animal House able to apply the right pressure to get themselves around away. And we'll see if Aimless Gaming can bounce back as we hop into round 2 of map 2.
You do you, Green. I'm going over here.
I agree with you.
Hey,
Look at this aggression. Lipinski's pushed up here early onto the corner. Wicked Hex just charging forward through the center. He was looking for an early kill. Steven just misses shots through the window. Now he's got to be ready for the nade barrage. Flashes come in. He's completely blind. All flashes are coming out. I think Lipinski got 2 there. Lipinski definitely blinded the center. He shut down huge momentum from ALG with 1 flash. Oh, Steven can't get them in the center. The callouts from ALG, they know they found 2. Green Theft able to trade with Nardu, but now it's all down to Willow. And where is their 5th? The res coming in. Oh no, that's a team kill. Lipinski on the back end gets the confirm. Also goes down himself, and so now it's a 3v1, and ALG are still playing this quick. They have an idea of where Willow is, and the comms are aggressive and often from ALG.
And this round has just been a battle of utility so far. Everybody's blinding each other left and right.
They definitely know Willow's here on the corner. Fume can apply the pressure, and they can put the suppressive fire and flashes right on top of him. He is completely blind. Fume's going to catch him out. Can't see anything in a very nice offensive round from ALG. And now we're getting into the weeds of it. Now we're getting in to what the regular season looks like without smoke grenades. Suburbia is our perfect demonstration.
Yeah, it's just a flash fest. I mean, everybody was blinded, especially there's that one exchange you were highlighting with Lipinski and a few other people on ALG over on lane 2 area. I mean, they were just dumping flashes on each other back and forth. I mean, they must have been flashed for half the round at that point. And then at the very end, the last defender behind those bushes in the front yard, I mean, a flash landed directly in front of him, and that's how they ran in and shot him. So, yeah, I mean, without smokes, flashes are now the dominant utility for throwing people off their senses.
Quick little shout out to everyone hanging out in chat. We do appreciate you. Seen a couple of follows come in, some bits, a couple of Prime subscriptions. We really do appreciate all the support. All that ends up going back to us at the casting desk, and it is much appreciated. Obviously, if you are new here, hit that follow button. We do this very often. We have other channels as well. If you want to go to Onward Master League 2 and 3, sometimes we have 3 games live at one time. It's that awesome. Okay, so make sure you're following all of the Onward channels so you can always get your esports fix that you need, because there's going to be a good amount of games coming on here throughout the course of the next few weeks as Season 10 starts to kind of wrap up down to that conclusion. It's going to be, I think, what, 5 weeks?
Yeah, I believe that's the count. And just to add a little addendum to that, I was looking at the stats for the VRML, the Onward section of it, at least the other day. We went from about 360 players last season to about 900 this season. So there's going to be so many more games, so much more action to catch, and if you're not following right now, you're really doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, especially if you're new, you can learn a thing or two, especially from teams like this. Watch how ALG plays as a team. They are very coordinated. Their comms are loud. They don't care if the other team hears them. They just want their team to know the information, and then they compile that all on the spot and use it to try and attack. Animal House have been doing the same thing, and it's a great back and forth we've got ourselves into as we dive into round 3.
behind the concrete, 'cause you'll get shot.
New objective over on the northwest side of things. How do you feel about this one, especially with no smokes?
I was just going to say it changes everything not having smokes, because that is the standard routine for attacking this objective. And Nardu pushed way up on lane 1 already. Just barely missed a peek from Wicked Hex there, and now he's hanging out, just waiting.
Flash is up and over, but he's not going to push off of him. And I do remember him taking up this exact position in the hiatus tournament. It is an interesting one that I haven't seen from anyone else. One that can be naded, arguably, but that nade doesn't catch who they're looking for. Another flash comes in. I think that gets Nardu through the shrubs, and Hex could take his shots and put him through the shrubs here, but he's not going to do it because he doesn't know Nardu's tucked in.
Yeah, no, and Nardu just tech tablet. He has to know that it's an enemy right behind him.
Number 2. Lane 1 down. Middle house and lane 2.
And again, Hex, if he just took those shots through the bushes, he'd get him. Finally identifies Nardu there, and I don't think Nardu knew Hex was there. Somehow Hex managed to get past his radar. It's a very important refrag, and a 4v3 now for Animal House.
You know, one thing I'm noticing, too, is they're using the flashes and not pushing, like you said. I think they're using it just as a way to stop momentum in some cases. They're not even really using it as a corner peek mechanism as they have traditionally been used. They're just saying, we don't want these guys to push us really hard. Wicked Hex winning an Oscar there.
Now, does that hurt you, or because you actually hear that maybe louder than the normal death sound would be? Either way, defense tucked in, waiting on their angles. Fume here, maybe the one that runs into action next for ALG, as Wicked Hex and Steven are positioning themselves over here in lane 4. Man, that was a good nade.
Yeah, just barely missed Steve there.
Fume, I mean, also almost got caught out by that one. If it was just a touch more to the right, would have been right on top of him. I'm sure that nade was intended for Fume at this exact location, because this is a pretty standard defensive spot to be tucked in between these two concrete barriers. And there's one dead here on the corner, so Hex has a lot of information to process and work with. He should have an idea that Fume is here.
Lipinski all by himself over here, putting shots near Virus's position. I don't know if he saw him or if he was just pre-firing there, because I think Virus was behind the fence. Oh, and now Lipinski... never mind.
Steven looking for Cartman. Susan almost puts some rounds onto Steven through the wood. A bit of an interesting exchange there. The flash was out on that west side, and the rotation came in for the kill, so that's how that exchange happened over there. A bit of an aggression to get them, but they're into the 3v2, and they know it. The kill count's in for Animal House. They know the situation they're up against, and they actually know where 2 are. They know Cartman's on the corner, and Susan's tucked into the patio. But what do? You know, if you don't have smokes, even if you know they're there, it's just going to take huge moves to root them out. I guess I like the swing. I think Steven's idea is the right one.
Yeah, you're just going to have to get a superior angle here, because you can't just dump the smoke over the roof. And the flashes aren't long-lived enough anymore for that to really be an effective cover for you to run around that corner. And Lipinski taking shots from lane 3, I believe, on the Evil Cartman.
He wants to keep Cartman's head down so Steven can do what he's doing right now, because Steven's going to have to challenge Susan. And Susan just, I don't know if that was a... Is that Susan shooting? Yes. Oh, there he swings. Steven does spot him out. Susan, oh, the quick angle from Lipinski actually gets him. Cartman still doesn't want to peek up over the barrier. Flash comes out on top. Lipinski charges past it. Virus kills him. I'm dying.
10 seconds, 10 seconds.
Oh, 9 seconds left. Yeah, I think unless Steven can pull off 2 kills real fast. Oh, there it is.
Apologies there on my end. I had a bit of a frog in my throat, but a great round from ALG. A solid hold, and they're playing into that time. You know, they know they're very aware. This is a team that's doing that has their senses seem to be on point. You know, they're savvy. They're playing together. Their communication's on point. They're very conscientious of the time they have left. They've won 2 rounds on time on defense already. You know, and I guess that, again, Animal House have to adjust. They have to sort of recognize that maybe we're playing things a touch too slow. You know, maybe we have to get in there a little bit earlier as a team. I don't know what the adjustment is there, but they gotta do something, or just keep playing what they do. I mean, they had a great Marsoc round. They got pretty close there. You know, they almost got themselves into the 2v2, but you know, just ALG still coming out on top, and now they have the lead 2-1.
So I don't know if this is intentional, but one difference, one adjustment I've seen being made here, at least by ALG, is they are doing everything they can to just stop Animal House from advancing. Like, they're not even necessarily trying to get the kill when they do that. As we were seeing, I believe it was Nardu who had that funky spot between the Heskos near lane 2. But I mean, they're just dumping flashes onto them and holding. And that, you know, there's no choice for the offense but to sit still and wait for that. And Animal House is one of those teams that they kind of build a wave of aggression and ride that. And that's how they kind of catch you off guard and make you do bad rotations and make you just make bad plays in general. And ALG seems to understand that. There's the one round where they didn't do that, where they just hung out in that house, they lost. So, again, I don't know if that was intentional, but if it was, that was some excellent strategy on their part.
We'll see if Animal House can snag themselves a defensive round here as we drop into round number 4 of map 2. Animal House's back's against the wall. If they lose this map, their map of choice, it will be it for the series. We'll obviously still play out the 3rd, but it'll be a great start for ALG to snag these first 2. And now we're getting some aggression for Animal House on defense as well, similar to that we saw from ALG. Wow, somehow Nardu gets past it, and this is insanity. The flashbangs are abundant in the center area. Steven finally able to get Nardu down, who pushed out into the center. A huge swing from Green Theft, a bit of over-aggression catching them out. Virus waiting for Lipinski to test his luck, and this is Animal House, and they've said, you know what? What we've been doing hasn't been working on defense. We're going to try and get aggressive, and we know that works for us. They found themselves a couple of kills, and they're throwing a bit of a wrench in the plans of ALG as they're into a 4v4. Oh, and Lipinski getting pinched. He got completely flashed there, too. Good moves from Fume to work off of that flashbang. A nice pickup, and ALG bouncing back from a very aggressive defense. Willow's still tucked in back over here.
Yeah, it feels like everybody has to learn how to play by Braille now with all these flashes flying around.
Wow, Susan completely blinding Willow. But I mean, look at how effective Willow's push is being right now. He is putting a pause in the otherwise very hard-pressed ALG aggression. Finally, Susan able to pick him up, and I like to call those the cop cars of suburbia as Steven finds another kill. Cartman swinging in the playground. Can he get a second? Maybe on the Virus here in the center he does, but somehow downs himself. Shoots himself in the leg. The res here is Hex almost gets picked up. Cartman able to get the confirm. Wow. A big pickup there for Hex, and somehow we've gotten ourselves into the 1v1. The chaos in the middle has unfolded to this. 2.5 left. 2.5 left, and I don't think Susan has any utility on that belt. There may be some they can scrounge up off of their dead teammate. But other than that, it is really a gun battle here. Shots coming in through the wood. Almost late on the Hex. They do! Susan does the right read. Here's the audio cues through the wood. And ALG go up 3-1.
Yeah, wow. Well, like I was saying, I feel like everyone needs to learn how to play by Braille now because they're all just going to be blind for most of the round. It's just nothing but flashes. It seems like everyone's packing 2 flashes and just tossing them over. It's really interesting to see this metagame now.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's really exciting to watch, frankly.
What I think we're seeing now, right, is teams figuring out how they do this. How do you play without smokes? The immediate response is we need to deny vision. That's what we do with smokes. So we're going to deny the vision with the flashbangs. I think the evolution here, the pattern that we might start to see as we get a few more weeks into it, hopefully before smokes get reintroduced at a better state, we'll start to see a mix of more nades too. You know, right now we've seen very little nades come in, and a couple of well-placed nades are also going to shut down aggression, just in a different way. They're going to kill the person instead. You know, so I think I'm interested to see how this evolves as we go, you know, week to week, what these players start to do, and how they adapt, because, you know, Season 10 really is the season of adapting. What team can continue to adjust and be the best as the game adjusts.
No doubt. And just to add on to your point about nades, you know, just knowing that a spot gets naded frequently can change either an offense or a defense. And like you said, if somebody gets a nade dropped on their head, everybody has to adjust to that death. So, yeah, I think, you know, right now maybe the flashes are all the rage. When you start seeing more of a mix, it'll make the game even more interesting. Oh.
Bit of a false start there, and obviously of note, a shift in objectives. Praise be to 185, because we are back to burning building.
It's got a lot of extra sparks or something flying out of it too. I don't know. It's like maybe it's
ash. Okay, that's ash in the industry.
Yeah. I was thinking that it was a bunch of feather pillows that caught on fire, and that's just kind of the remnants of the feathers. But I don't know.
I like your. You know what? We go with your lore. I like that better. Animal House backs against the wall, must win from here on out, or it's the series out of their hands. But they don't seem to be too worried as Hex just sprints his way up here, right up into playground.
Oh, and Virus has placed a Volk drone all the way on lane 4.
Lane 4.
Oh. Brain Theft just missed. The bullet's going underneath the armpit of Hex. Nardu swings, somehow doesn't get Theft. I think he got flashed at some point. I don't know what happened there. Theft somehow gets the kill, though, and they have full control of objective. They could cap right now. Animal House have completely killed everyone that's on OBJ. Susan and Fube have not recognized this. No, Susan has. Shots come out. Green Theft's tucked in onto objective. Can Susan shut it down?
Oh, wow. So close. There's some of that Steven enthusiasm.
Yep, I heard it in the distance. Even I was good 40 meters away. I heard the Steve enthusiasm.
Ooh, that was a spicy push right there. They just basically came up on lane 4 and took over, which is really interesting too, because they had placed a Volk drone in the middle of the street. I don't think anybody is expecting that right now because it's still so new to the competitive scene. Mm-hmm. But even with that little bit of surveillance, they just could not stop that lane 4 push by Animal House.
Wow, Animal House are hanging on. They picked up the must-win Marsoc round. Now they go on to defense. Arguably, this is a tough one to defend. My impressions are so... but they just don't mean anything anymore, you know? It's like, is it hard to defend? I don't know. Or the flashback, like how has this new meta changed how these players play this objective? So far, Animal House able to come out on top with a very commanding aggressive push. I do wonder if Aimless Gaming are going to answer back in kind because they have been playing it very aggressive. We'll see as we hop into round 6.
Yeah, it seems like Aimless decided this was going to be a game where they match styles and decided to be just as aggressive as their opponents. So, who knows? We might see a very strong push here.
Oh, wow. Huge pre-fire pickup from Lipinski. Equally huge pre-fire pickup from Fume. Flash comes out here. And Willow's working his way up. Another flash. Oh, no, a nade up and over. Almost grabs Fume. Willow rotates, and here come the nades. I said that they can be as effective as shutting down a push as a flash, and Nardu goes down. Susan has to take a pause, get the res. A bit of a momentum shift here. Animal House, 5 left alive. Lipinski does not want to let up on the pressure. He's got his LMG out. He knows Nardu's close by. He has to reload. Nardu has to push now.
Oh, wow. What a shot by Willow there. Took out 2 basically in 1 or 2 shots. And it is all tied up. What a round. That was aggressive, to say the least.
It's interesting, because Animal House have sort of been playing it, you know, pre-smoke ban meta. And I don't know if they've woken up here, but those last 2 rounds were wildly different than how they were playing their other rounds. They're definitely more in the face there, definitely more confident in their aggression. And I think it took ALG by surprise because it just hasn't been what they've been doing the last few rounds. We're into a 3-3 now. ALG arguably are defending. They have it easier. This objective, not exact. Again, what do I know? Smokes aren't in play. I would think this would be harder to attack without smokes.
Yeah, I know I'm kind of repeating myself here, but this one, it's traditionally been, as you mentioned, part of the meta to just dump smokes on this. And because you can cap from the other side of the car, where most defenders are not, you know, basically you clear out the porch nearby and then cap from that side. You can't do that anymore. And yeah, I mean, Animal House, this last couple of rounds is, I don't know, they seem to have woken up and said, look, this is what we're good at, which is what we're going to do. We're going to push hard and we're going to be aggressive and make them make bad decisions. And yeah, like you said, I have no idea what to expect at this point because the game feels so much different now. I'm just excited to see what happens.
It is all tied up as we hop into round number 7. This series has been awesome to tune into, and I mean, couldn't ask for a better one to kick off at least my season 10 again. You know, this has been an excellent intro back into it, and very exciting to watch with all these changes in the meta. And what is Animal House gonna do now as we dive into this round? It's a big question mark for me. I'm gonna guess yell swear words, throw flashbangs, and sprint at the enemy guns.
Yeah, Animal House is giving out a battle cry as they push forward.
Cartman gets Hex on Humvee corner. Green Theft putting some rounds down towards Cartman's side and temporarily buying Willow some time, but Virus also has an angle.
Heavy breathing, lane 1. Heavy breathing, lane 1.
I don't think that flash gets Cartman, and Willow was hoping it did.
Thank you.
Down he goes. More flashes coming out and over, and again, I don't think they're catching out who they want to. Cartman does get picked up by a very nice angle from Lipinski. Here's the callouts from Virus in the white car, and now 2 are suppressing that. We're into a 4v3 with 1 resible. And that's what I was wondering what Virus was doing pad out on that white car. I forget the Volk drone's in play. And that's what he was doing there. He was running the Volk drone over there, just calling out everyone's position.
Yeah, and it's still so novel. I think a lot of people are not going to look down and notice that thing. First time we saw it, it was out in the open on lane 4, and nobody saw it.
Have to start splitting our attention across the map as Green Theft is working his way in. And you also have Steven posturing for a rotation around Bus. Somehow manages to make that cross twice without getting picked.
Yeah, Lipinski looks like he's electing to rotate away from lane 1 because Virus just has a dominant control over that
He's
angle.
at the top right corner, kind of in
Looks
front
like they're
of
going to
Red
push
Dog.
more towards
Did you get? Hey,
lane 2, 3 now.
Did you get
Although
White
Green Theft is now rotating
No,
back to
no.
lane 1.
did you get the White Power Panther or the patio?
No.
Steve going for a little peek up on top of the swing. It's definitely a good position to be taken. You can get some nice angles down into some defensive spots. It's probably the most time Animal House have had to work with, though. 2 minutes and 20 seconds on the clock. Usually they'd impress for time.
Our side house, lane 4, on the porch. He's running around.
Yeah, it looks like Green Theft and Galexian are going to have a confrontation here because Green Theft is proning around this corner. Don't think he hears him. Green Theft's laser was just on him. Oh, brought Tablet out at just the wrong moment.
Of all times, the Tablet, certainly an interesting one there.
Yep. A little out in the open, but now there are multiple lasers trained on lane 3 there. They know what's going on, and it's 5 up for Aimless. This is
Oof.
oof. So 5v1 now. Minute and 22 left.
Lipinski's been playing big for Animal House, but I don't know if he can play this big. See what he tries to pull out of his bag of tricks. We get down into our last minute. He's gonna find one. Started something. Something's stirring. Fume here on a rotation. Can Lipinski catch Fume on that rotation? Doesn't look like he's gonna, well, maybe. Almost gets Susan on some pre-fire through the shrubs. That would have been huge. Fume, though, is swinging. Oh, does he see it? No, he had the angle for a split second, but Fume was still hidden by the shrubs. As he peeks, he swings away. Fume finds the kill. Lipinski can't mount the comeback. The series goes into the hands of ALG.
Yeah, and that was one heck of a comeback by Animal House there. They've got nothing to feel ashamed of. Just that last round, I think, it just didn't go their way in a few key moments, but strong map for them regardless.
Yeah, no kidding. Very solid performance from both teams here on Suburbia. And even though the series is decided, we still play out the third because it does affect how much MMR you lose or gain. MMR, obviously, again, if you're new, determines what skill level you're going to be matched up against each week. And so as you win, you gain MMR, and you go up against more challenging opponents that have also won. And as you lose MMR. If you lose by a larger margin, so for example, if Animal House could win this next map, they could really lighten the damage that they're gonna, the damage to their MMR that they would feel otherwise if they were to lose 3 maps in a row.
Yep, that's why you've got to play through every single map. Be curious to see, like a lot of teams kind of let loose on the last map and don't stay focused, and they end up losing MMR as a result. I will be curious to see how ALG reacts to this.
Yeah, because I can tell you how Animal House are going to play it.
Yeah.
They were already starting to lock into that groove of let's just get in there and get wild with it, and it was working for them. And I anticipate a lot more of that here as we do go to Cargo for map 3.
Yeah, and I think it's safe to say, no matter what, this will be a flash fest, just like Suburbia, because it's short range and those flashes are just real spicy right now. All right, so Animal House has one of the arguably easier objectives to defend to start with here. since the objective is hidden behind the container. Now they can cap within the container and everything, but they have to work their way through a defense. Although, knowing Animal House, they are likely to push forward and at least occupy one person through the center, I would guess.
Taking a look at rosters. No subs coming out here, so what we saw there for the last round is what we're going to see here for map 3. And yeah, a brief reminder that we do have another game that just went live over on Master League 2. I believe Noman's casting that one. I don't know who his co-host is. I believe Anonymous, actually, so should be a fun one to tune into. We'll obviously be stopping by after the end of this. But yeah, get your multi-streams up and digest 2 Onward games at once. Because 1 sometimes isn't enough.
Gotta feed that addiction as much as possible.
We'll feed it as we get into round 1 of map number 3.
Nine bang.
Wow. Full defensive push.
And the 5-man press here from ALG. A couple going down in a flurry of fire on the corner. Fume gets one. Fume swinging on the outside. Green Theft somehow gets that pickup. And in the chaos, we've got ourselves a 2v2. Nice pickup there from Cartman. Recognizing Green Theft and Wicked Hex. Not going to play it passively. He's up here looking for the kills. Virus able to get that one, and ALG snag themselves a very quick cargo round 1.
Every single Animal House player there pressed into the center. That was crazy. And yeah, I guess it's even wilder because Aimless just matched them. They took 5v5 right through the middle, and it was just a gunsling show right there. You know, whoever can survive that face-to-face wins the round, and Aimless came out on top there.
Going to the defense, and I wonder if we'll see a as aggressive ALG defense. I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can hear ALG. You know, this is still for MMR, so they want to do what they can do to get as much as they can. And I mean, geez, this is a team that we're going to have to really watch out for throughout the rest of this Season 10.
Yep. I mean, the Peacekeepers, back when they were the Peacekeepers, were already on the rise, and this latest iteration is a very impressive team.
Ooh, Fume getting completely flashed out there. Another flash coming in. A nade going out up over in top, and Fume is safe. Willow tried to fake the death sound. A flash comes up and over. Willow continues the aggression. Gets a kill, but gets picked up by Susan, so 1 for 1. Oh, that's a good nade. Hex goes down. That's actually a flash. Green Theft trying to swing. Virus able to get that one. Lipinski and Steven. The final 2 left alive. A shotgun apparently getting pulled out here from Animal House.
Yep, around there.
Rushing on us, I think. No, that's me.
Tripping dog.
Big portion of this game, obviously, as we've talked about, is audio cues. And
I got that.
you listen for enemy footsteps, you listen for enemy comms, you listen for breathing, you listen for anything that can get you an advantage. And you heard Cartman there calling out his own footsteps. The pressure of the moment getting a bit to him.
And Lipinski making gun sounds, but not with his gun. And they called him out. Virus was saying that there's somebody in what they call the barrels room, so Lipinski a bit pinned down here. If he rotates, they will get him. guess he went back and they did not keep an eye on that, so he is now back in the center.
Interesting to see Animal House pause it up right now. I figured they would just continue to fling themselves at the enemy.
Yeah, pew pew, yeah. Pew, pew, pew. Oh, fuck. He's running.
I mean, yeah, this is Animal House to a T, right? Very loose. Don't necessarily go in with plans in mind. Just look to play and have a good time. Susan catches Lipinski getting a little too wet and wild.
Another.
Goes down. Steven now,
Yo, was that
the lone
Yeah, it was.
survivor, and I think he might have taken off his headset.
He might be playing dead too, although it's hard to tell exactly what's going on with his. Is he looking under the door, maybe?
He could be. It seems like he maybe set. I think he set his controllers down and took his headset off. That's what that looks like to me.
Yeah, because I think, if he was playing dead, pulling the old El Vegas, then he would drop his gun, put some utility on the ground, the tablet, just to really add to the effect. But I think you might be right. I think he might have taken off his headset.
Don't get antsy, they're running down the line.
It's interesting to see just a difference in focus here. This ALG team. I think I have a technical issue. They can't. Okay. Sorry for the tech issues there, but I guess out of all the times for them to happen, that was a good time for it to happen. A disconnect apparently resulting in the final death for Animal House. And give me a brief moment as I figure out audio and hopefully get all of that sorted. So I do apologize again for the technical issues. It's completely my fault. I unplugged audio.
So,
There he is. They can hear you now, Theta.
oh, okay. Yeah, the monotone has returned. Now I can help put people to sleep in this final round once again.
Please. We've had some good laughs, some high energy action going on here, but it's that third map. It ends up winding down, and hopefully I don't have to reconnect to get audio. I guess out of all times to do it, I'm going to do it right now. So
Okay.
try and sort the audio issues here as we wait for the fifth to get into lobby, but the score line already favoring ALG 2-0. They're looking to snag this third map.
Yeah, and I think you can really see the difference in attitude here because Aimless was reminding, as they had the 3 up at the end there, they were reminding each other, like, don't get antsy, stay on point. This is for MMRs, the league game, blah, blah, blah. They could have very well just thrown it into the wind because they've already won the match, but they've decided to stay sharp, which I think is the right move. And yeah, it looks like Steven still has not come back. I don't know if they're going to try to sub in or get him back in. Oh, it looks like they're going to run a 4v5, I guess.
Was there an update in between our game here?
Let's check here. I will look.
I do not see the map available for me on my end.
Oh, interesting. Let's see here. No, it doesn't look like there's an update. I still have an active map, so not sure. All right. Ooh, and all kinds of action happening up the middle. And they are pressing on objective already. Wicked Hex pushes into the middle and gets Galexian. Ooh. Green Theft Auto killing people with the shotgun. Wow. Just clearing people out with that gun. Oh no, Nardu by himself on objective. No defenders in sight. Lipinski might catch him. Oh, yeah, just catches him in time. If he'd been right in that door, might have even got that cap.
Have to keep listening to the Theta cast.
All right, so yeah, it looks like they're just kind of pressing the pace now. I don't think Animal House is terribly interested in making sure that they've got a fifth here. So they are just going 4v5. Let me make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so the dot count at the top of the screen is inaccurate. They do not have 5.
We have no screen here, so again, we're just gonna have to rely on your audio because for some reason I have no lobby to join.
Okay. So let's see. Animal House pushing strong into the middle. Willow gets Virus here. Lipinski dumping pre-fire, but Nardu takes out Willow as he is right in the middle. Green Theft pushes into the middle and goes down to Nardu as well. Wicked Hex center right here takes out Nardu. And it's just it's just Wicked Hex and Lipinski left against 3 Aimless players here. And Aimless getting a little spicier here, but still seem to be playing a fairly disciplined defense. Wicked Hex on objective right now. Oh, Wicked Hex is tablet out. Oh, just barely gets caught there. It's all up to Lipinski now, and Cartman is on him, but Lipinski, excellent corner peek there. And Fume is watching the angle right across the center of the map. Lipinski is now rotating back, negating that advantage. Lipinski running almost all the way back to spawn. Yeah, running now back to the pipes area for spawn. Watching that line. It looks like Fume is bouncing around, not quite sure where Lipinski went. Fume does a quick confirm on a body. And Fume just rotating back and forth around the deadly diamond, as they call it. And Lipinski taking his time coming through the middle. He has to know it's 1v1 at this point, which might explain his caution. Lipinski peeking now. Ooh, a Fume just saw him, and Fume takes it. Aimless takes the next round. It's now 3-1 Aimless. Yeah, it's an interesting round on that one. It seemed like Animal House was deciding to be more focused on that, especially as Lipinski, and I believe his Wicked Hex was with him. I don't remember who the other one was when it was just 2v2 there. But, oh wow, they are already jumping back in. They are not wasting any time between rounds. Now we're at the other north objective. It is not the north objective we started with. This is the one in front of the container. ALG firing off celebratory shots before the round starts. And we are getting another 5-person defensive push from Animal House straight into the middle. It looks like ALG was waiting for it, though. Oh, Will-O-the-Wisp getting 3 right there. Nardu just baffled as he runs over the corpses of his friends there. And Fume just with a... Oh, he's got a shield. He just took out Nolamite. So now 4v1 against Fume, shield, and he goes down. Now 3-2. Animal House taking that round. And I would try to give a summary of this round, but I would bet they're just going to jump right into it as they've been doing at the other ones. It's just been non-stop in here. Do we still not have a video feed?
No, we do not. I don't think
Okay.
we will.
We're just going to be riding this wave then.
Yep.
All right. So that time we saw a shield come out from Aimless. I haven't seen them using one the entire game. I don't know if they just felt like being a little more experimental or what happened there. But they looked like they were ready for that 5-person push, but Wicked Hex ran around from the defense's perspective, the right side of the Deadly Diamond, and there were 3 people in that center container, and he just ran through and swept them. It was pretty brutal. And then, yeah, it was pretty much done from there. They just did not have a way to recover from that. So Animal House pushing its brand name aggression. We have Nolamite back in now, so we will have a 5v5. Aimless on defense, Animal House on offense. If Aimless can just lock down here, they can take this map as well. But Animal House also well known for their fast capping capabilities, so maybe we'll see them push through with Sans Smoke and get a map win for themselves.
Yeah, and I think the whole the Animal House style right now is definitely just fling yourself at the enemy, see what happens. It's not it's that last map they've really lost any sort of focus they may have had, on Suburbia, where they started to find some rounds. But even then, the rounds they were winning on Suburbia, they were winning like this. They were getting chaotic, and it led to getting them those W's. And so ALG just need to recognize that this is what's going on and react accordingly.
Yeah, they're playing a real tight defense now, and Animal House pushing straight up the middle. Wow, Nolamite on objective, but he is not going for... Interesting, he did not try to go for a cap. He just went hunting. And there is a whole lot going on. I cannot call all this, but a bunch of people just died. It's now a 3v2 in favor of Aimless. Wicked Hex and Lipinski up the middle against Nardu, Evil Cartman, and Virus. Ooh, and Wicked Hex and Virus both go down. Lipinski down Wicked Hex. And it's over. Lipinski goes down from Evil Cartman. They traded there. So Aimless Gaming wins Cargo 4-2. That was perhaps the most chaotic Cargo map I've ever seen. I'm sorry you guys couldn't see more video of that.
Yeah, we got to catch a couple of rounds, and yeah, it's what I really would have expected out of ALG and Animal House. It would have been interesting to see this map earlier in the set when the series was still on the line, and not necessarily when it was so free and easy for the Animal House team, because we could have had a very interesting Cargo back and forth. But yeah, good on ALG to snag that final round and come out on top, and ultimately snag all 3 maps. This is a great start to getting back into Season 10.
Indeed. Yeah, if this is what we've got in store for the rest of Season 10, I mean, I was already excited, but now even more so. And I'm really looking forward to see Aimless develop because, yeah, I mean, they were a lower tier team last season, and they are really showing themselves to belong up in the top tier if they could do this to Animal House. So congrats to them. And Animal House, they played a good game too. They brought it up to 3-3 on Suburbia. They had some very strong rounds. It just didn't go their way in a few key situations, but still an excellent game.
And I mean, in the day and age of Globo, and maybe not necessarily having it being active in the regular seeding, it's certainly a opportunity for these teams that like this to make a name for themselves. This is a team that could be #1 if they just keep putting in the work and effort that they have been. They're certainly looking great. Animal House looking like Animal House, a very typical performance from them. A bit of a swing up and down. You don't know what you're going to get necessarily, but they almost came back on Suburbia and put up a decent scoreline there on Cargo. So solid performance from them. Obviously, got to keep an eye on them as we go throughout the regular season because they will always be good as long as they maintain that roster. Because those players are good players. Doesn't matter how communicative they are, how focused they are. They really succeed on the individuality of them all, and it's an interesting time. It's a good time to spectate Onward, and like I said, make sure you follow. We'll be hosting Onward Master League 2, where there will be another game live, so just hang tight. There's going to be more Onward action. That'll be it for us here on Master League 1, though. Huge shout out to Theta for keeping the thing going for the last couple of rounds there, managing to maintain everyone's attention and captivate us with your voice. Very well done, Theta. Appreciate that. And yeah, that's going to be it from us. My name is NightFiree with 2 E's. My co-caster, Theta with just 1. We'll see you all later this week with more Onward action.
Have a good night, everybody.